All right, we're live now. Hello, my name is Carden Trong, and I'm a reporter of CFISD Student News. We are honored to interview you. We want to inform you that this interview is a part of a series of interviews for all candidates. We are a nonpartisan organization that cannot endorse, dedicate to keeping the students of CFISD informed, and this interview helps us fulfill this mission. We want to let you know that this meeting will be recorded and uploaded to social media. Additionally, at the end of the interview, we will ask a set of extra questions that our district affairs committee would like to know. Without the out of the way, let's begin the interview. All right, Mr. Edwards, there's 3 sections. Section 1, 2, and 3. Section 1 is general questions, which would take 15, 30 minutes based on how long it takes for you to respond it. There's candidate specific questions, basically questions based off the resume that we came up with based on the resume you gave us, which is also 15, 30 minutes, and extra questions, which we'll go on to until there's 5 minutes left where we'll end the interview there. The extra questions have a little trivial, silly questions, while some very, questions that will have serious thought and depth into it. But with that out of the way, let's begin. Section 1, general questions. Who are you? Where are you from? What position are you running for? And most importantly, tell us about yourself.
Sure. My name is George Edwards. I'm from Mississippi originally, born and raised in Mississippi. I'm a U.S. Army veteran. It's at the age of 17 after high school. I enlisted in the U.S. Army for two reasons. One, to serve my country, but the other one was to earn some money to go to college. So I did about 5 years in the military. Uh, was honorably discharged from the military, then went into college. And I majored in accounting and received an accounting degree from the University of Southern Mississippi in Hattiesburg. From there, ExxonMobil brought me out here to Houston. And I was with them for 39 years before retiring in January 2020. So, my wife and I have lived in the Cypress area for a little over 45 years now. And we raised our kids, 3 boys here in the Cypress area. They all went through Cy-Fair schools. One graduated from Langham Creek, Cy Falls, and Cy-Fair. And they attended, they all went on to attend college and got degrees in their profession. And one now is an attorney of his own international law firm. One is a principal at a charter school in Shreveport, and one is a treasurer for a local home builder. And now I have 2 granddaughters, one that's 15 years old and one that's about 4 months old. So we're focusing a lot of attention on them right now. I've lived in Cy-Fair, as I mentioned, a long time. I've actually served on the board of Cy-Fair back 95 and 98 when we had year-round schooling in this area. And I was elected to end that program because it was costing the district a whole lot of money. And so I got elected, did some analysis on the cost of it versus the cost of the current calendar that we're on, and determined that it was costing us a lot more money. And it also was very inconvenient for a lot of parents because of their schedules. So have a very strong vested interest in Cy-Fair and with my family, and I'm one that wants to see the district thrive and do well with its students. And that is why I am running right now, is to ensure that some of the rigor and the academic excellence that was instilled in my kids get instilled in the kids that are currently in school.
Thank you so much for your response. It's very impressive that you've done this before my time, and you're coming back into the game. Also, thank you so much for your service. We thank you for everything you've done and all the sacrifices you made.
And I'm also a certified public accountant. I forgot to mention that. I am a certified public accountant, and I did that uh, with ExxonMobil when I was with them, and I still have an active license that I maintain annually.
Okay, thank you very much for letting us know. So you did definitely a lot of, accounting. That actually is one of the questions we're going to ask to dive into more in the Canada-based, Canada-specific questions. So let's save that for the next set of questions. Question two: how has CFIC impacted you, and how does it influence the decision making you'll make as a member of the school board?
Uh, the school district is very important to the Cy-Fair community. It's been that way since we've lived here. As I mentioned earlier, I had three sons to all go through Cy-Fair schools and graduate and move on. And so, because of the excellent education that they received, and the fact that I served on the board during part of that period, uh, I know the impact that the school district has for the community. It's part of the reason why our community thrives the way it is because we have a very good school district, and there are a lot of people in this area who have long roots within Cy-Fair, and they all track it back to the school district. And I'm one of those now because I've been here over 45 years, and so I've seen the excellence that Cy-Fair can put out through the educational process, but not only that, just through the social connections and what have you um, that are built among the people that graduate and end up living in the community. You see the social connections that people have that relate back to the school district, including me.
Thank you. Cy-Fair's connected a lot of people together. I mean, for me, I am first generation, but I've gone to school district, not just K to 12, pre-K to 12. And this district has definitely shaped my life for the better, and I'm thankful for it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it definitely is a core aspect of our community, not because of teachers, the staff, even and the students, but just how it makes us unite as a whole. Because because of education, we know how it's become more important by the minute.
Mm-hmm.
That that brings us to the next question, one of the slightly more trivial ones. How do you feel about the new phone policy?
I think it's great. I think that the phones uh, create a distraction for students in the classroom. And I was glad to see the phone policy that was implemented and to be able to, I think kids should have the phones, but have them in their backpacks during school period, because I think that the main focus should be on their studies in the classroom and focused on what they're doing there. So I am very supportive of the phone policy.
Some students have actually improvised on alternative ways of just entertaining themselves during lunch. Some of them are playing with oversized Uno cards. Cy Ranch students there have been pictures of Cy Ranch students doing that, and some students have been just playing regular card games that they can come up with off their brain. So it's been a little more engaging with each other. We've been more engaging with each other since then. I mean, the only problem, well, in terms of social, we have is trying to find each other in the large lunches we have during the school day. I actually couldn't find my friend for 3 days in a row, and hopefully Monday I have better luck. Um, that Let's move on to the next question. What policies do you plan on implementing or reversing?
Uh, in my interest, the platform that I bring to the school district is one of reading for comprehension. I want to, I believe that our school district has a mini crisis of reading of students, of number of students who are not reading on grade level. And I like to get that problem fixed. And I like, and part of getting it fixed, I like to make certain that we have strong teachers that are trained in phonetics based reading methods at the early grades, uh, kindergarten through third grade, so that our kids, by the end of third grade, are reading and understand what it is they read. There's an old saying that from kindergarten to third grade, you're learning to read. Uh, uh, from third grade forward, you're reading to learn. And I truly believe that. I think that uh, we've got to fix that issue in order for us to go to the next level of excellence in the school district that we all want to attain. And so that's a main focus of mine will be to focus on fixing the reading problem or the reading issue that I have come to become aware of. The other item I like to do is to focus on our fiscal accountability and transparency. I like to make certain that uh, the last couple of years we've been in a deficit situation within Cy-Fair. And I have a financial background that I bring to the board. And so I would like to delve into that issue and look at exactly how we are spending our funds. Some in the community have suggested a deeper dive audit into what our finances are about. And I'm in favor of that. I think that potentially we may end up having to do a forensic type audit to really dig into the expenditures and revenues and the expenditures that are being made so that we have a clear understanding of just how our funds are being utilized in the district. And just once we have that clear understanding, we can know more clearly what direction we need to go in order to fix the problem. The other thing is I want to have safe and disciplined classrooms for our teachers. I want our teachers to be able to feel that they are supported by the school board and that they uh, 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 if we deal with discipline issues that they may face in a very immediate way, and that we make certain that our classrooms operate in an orderly and decent fashion for both the teachers and the students. And in order to do that, I think we have to do a better job of engaging with our parents. We have them to understand what we're trying to accomplish in terms of one, the academic performance of the students, but also the behavior performance of the students. And so we need to do a better job of engaging with the parents because they have a role to play in their students' lives. And so that's something I would also like to focus on is helping to get more parents engaged in the academic and behavioral condition of the students.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, definitely do some things, look into what we're really doing in the district. I mean, not many students, teachers, parents, or, even maybe potentially people on the top of the chain really know what is going on every single level of the district. And I see your point of view. That brings us to our last question or our general questions. How will you work with state legislators to improve Cy-Fair ISD?
Good question. I think that the school board and administration should have a very cordial and an um, open access type of relationship with our state and local legislators, because the state legislators provide the funding, a lot of the funding that comes into the school district, and so they need to understand what our needs are and be able to assist when they can. And but at the same time, I think that we, as a school district, not only should have those open and cordial relations, but we also need to understand too that we, as a school district, have to produce and show that we are producing graduates and students that will become productive in society and that will become useful in society. Because I think that a lot of the legislators, a lot of the community members in general will ask the question, what is the rate of return that I'm getting for the funds that we're investing in the school district? You know, are our kids getting educated properly? Are they coming out? Are they graduating ready to go either to college or careers or military in a way that that they are they properly prepared and in the basic skills of reading, writing, and learning, and in those areas. And so, I think that we need to understand that. I think that it's not just a one way street that we just go and ask them for a lot of bunch of money funds, but it's also they're looking at the school district and saying, okay, what are you doing with the funding that you have, and are you producing a quality student in a way that's very useful for society? Because I think if we do that, you have that synergy between the two. You will see that they're going to be a bit more receptive to our requests if our requests for funding that may if we had those type of requests than the opposite. So I think we need to look at it both ways and do what we can to ensure that they have confidence in the school district that it's doing its job with the funding that it needs, and also if the other needs arise, they will they will respond favorably to those needs.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's definitely a thing we need to know. Like, it's a balance between making sure the legislators trust us in doing our job, well, the district's job in educating students like me and the people that are going to watch these videos, and and having you and listening to you guys to make sure they're able to accompany those needs to get the job done. It has to be mutual. And I like that. I mean, that's what some people definitely need to recognize, and hopefully we're able to maintain that relationship. Or I'm hoping, presuming we're hopefully having some sort of relationship like that, and hopefully we'll maintain it for the long term, long after I'm gone from this district, long after if you're at long after your time as a board trustee member, if you are likely going.
Yeah.
But yeah, that 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 brings us to the end of section one. Next question is section two, candidate specific questions, 15-30 minutes. Question one. You served as a school board member, specifically as the vice president in 1995 to 1998. What have you learned during your time then? And what do you plan on doing to serve as a board member in the 21st century?
Okay, good question. I served as you mentioned as a former board member. I learned how the board works. I learned the dynamics of the board and how it works with the administration that you have in the school district. The board has broad responsibilities, oversight responsibility for the school district and how it operates. And so it's you learn as a board member, you learn what that dynamic is like, and you also get to learn some of the inner workings of the school district, the different area departments, and what they do and how they impact the education process, which is important because it's kind of like a huge a machine. There are different parts of it, and you need to know what those different parts, how they interact to uh, they interact with the educational system, so that that student who goes to the school district when he graduates, what is the impact of those different departments on that educational process as he goes through his educational career. Um, I realize that a lot of things have become more digitized as the years have gone by, and there's a lot more reliance on technology. in the schools, and that's fine. I think that we need to. There's a place for the technology. A lot of the kids that are coming to school are very tech savvy in a way, and I think that we need to be able to um, understand how to harness that technology in a way that it positively affects the educational process. That when our kids leave, they not only know how to read and write and do math, but how to use the technology that exists to integrate within those things and to produce a product, whether they go into college, whether they go to the military, whether they go in a career path, they understand the technology and know how to utilize that technology and in conjunction with just the basic skills of reading, writing, and math.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with the new age coming with new technology, we need to remember that we have to go back to basics: reading, writing, science, social studies, math. And I absolutely see your vision, and maybe the mission that you came with back in the 95 to 98, comes back to here and, gets it done. That I'm a little curious. So I also wonder, you only served one term, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes, correct.
Uh, what, is it okay if I asked, why you kind of retired instead of running for reelection?
Sure. I didn't retire. I came on when the school district was um, within year round. You had year round schools in the school district, and I was elected. I ran on a platform of returning the school district to a more traditional calendar basis, and I won based on that platform. In addition to the platform of just having academic excellence within the school. And so I won based on that. There were some forces in the community that did not like the fact that we ended the year-round schooling. And so by the time I came up for reelection, those forces all got together and they ran an opponent against me, and that person won. And I was planning to run the next time around, but I got recruited by the State Bar of Texas. And so I stayed with the State Bar, served on that board for up to 10 years. And so I just kind of got out of the school, the local school um, uh, infrastructure, and was at the State Bar level, the organization that governs attorneys within the state. And then I would also have my day job too, at ExxonMobil. So between those two things, I was busy and not as active in school related affairs.
Thank you for clarifying among the audience, about, the context. I mean, most of the people seeing this weren't really active back then, or, not to offend you, not alive back then at all. Um, but yeah, I absolutely understand that. But definitely gives us insight on the context, because it seems like you have quite a context to tell us. But that brings us to the next question. Based on the resume you submitted, you had quite the experience as an accountant. How will this experience prepare you to serve as a school board member?
Good question. I've had a varied amount of experience as an accountant. Primarily, the experience has rested within has been within ExxonMobil itself. I've served in a number of different areas within Exxon where I've been able to use my financial background in order to do the jobs that I was tasked with. And in addition, you will see on the resume there are a number of different boards that I have sat on as a member. And in each of those areas, I've been able to use my financial background to deal with the budgets of those organizations, to deal with the budgeting process, the um, reviewing their revenues and expenses, reviewing their investments, things of that nature, to be able to utilize the financial background that I bring to that I have with being a certified public accountant. And so that has prepared me over the years, because I've had that varied experience. I will be able to bring that experience to the current Cy-Fair ISD school board, and be able to review its budget, and look at its revenues and its expenses, and say, you know, uh, understand what those represent, and understand how best to utilize the funding that we receive from both the state property taxes and the federal government. And so, and look at the expenditure. This is look at the expenditures to determine if those expenditures are adequate, or they're proper, or do they need to be adjusted, that kind of thing. So that's where the experience, uh, financial background comes into play. And because I've had that varied experience in the past, then I think I'd be best positioned to be able to make those assessments.
Thank you very much for your response. Definitely gives us perspective. Next question. Let's get a little more out of the experience of what's in the past to what's more recent in the past. Based on our reporter's findings, you've previously ran for 2023. What have you learned since then? And also, what is the difference between your plan for CFISD in 2023 and your plans for CFISD in 2025?
Okay. Uh, I've learned a lot about the community in general. When I ran in 2023, we had it was a three person race, and so uh, I came up second in that race, and I believe that had I not had the third person not been in the race, I may have won that race, because I think we pulled votes from the same camp. I just pulled most of the votes. So I learned that, uh, I learned that from that race. And the other thing is, my what I was hoping to accomplish in 2023, I hope to accomplish in 2025, and that is to focus on the reading, get us back to raising the level of high expectations for our students, particularly in those lower grades, and getting them on grade level in terms of their subject areas, so that we become more of an excellent district in terms of academic performance. The other thing is, um, I like to, like I said, we've lived throughout the last few years in a deficit type situation. So that's an issue that I think is on the table with respect to the school district, is how do we manage to get back to a level of spending and revenues and expenses that are not in a deficit, and that will generate gains that we can build our reserve fund on. So that will also be something that we will tackle as a board, and to make certain that uh, our personnel, our teachers, and personnel are adequately compensated, and that our community in general feels engaged enough to assist us in carrying out uh, the, 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 the functions that are required in order to have a quality educated student.
Thank you for your response. Yes, absolutely. I like the consistency. I know you're running. Seems like you're running with a purpose in these elections, and I admire that. consistency is a hard thing to find nowadays. Um, but that wraps up our section 2 for candid questions. And section 3, we're going to ask extra questions, which we will ask until we have 5 minutes remaining in the phone call. Some of these questions may be trivial, some of them might be about your campaign, or, a mix of the two. Let's begin. With the 2025 and 2026 school year starting, what is your message to the students of CFISD?
The message to my students, to the students of CFISD of 2025-2026 is to do your very best in class. Take your classwork seriously. We as adults need you to do your best while you have the opportunity to perform your best in class. Take your classwork serious. Have fun also, but remember you're primarily there to learn, and that's going to I was talking to some students last year at a different high school and in Humble, and I was telling them, and I told them, I said, I sat in your seat at one time as a student, and you have an opportunity here to enrich yourselves with the learning that your teachers are going to provide you with. Take advantage of that opportunity, and learn to read, learn to write, learn to do math, learn these basic things, because you will always use those things, even though you may appear now, well, I don't think I will use that. I'll be using computers, what have you. You will be using those basic skills when you become an adult. I don't care where you go. I don't care what type of career you have. Uh, you will use those basic skills that you're learning right this year in those classes. So take advantage of those things. Uh, be studious. Uh, uh, be kind and thoughtful to your teachers, and be respectful. That's what I would tell them.
Thank you. I mean, definitely we gotta focus our students. We gotta focus in. I mean, we're the reason why we get budget money from the state. That's the thing that people need to remember. We have a little running joke among my classmates. I that do AP and dual credit. We like to say, let's try to be the teacher's academic weapon. But yeah, definitely, that's definitely a message that our students will take to heart. The next question is a little more trivial, and I'll just ask it. What's your favorite elementary, middle, and high school in CFISD?
Good question. Um, I would say Lowry was my favorite elementary. That's because my kids went through Lowry. Libi was the favorite middle school, and I had three high schools. So South Falls, Cy-Fair, Langham Creek, and I had a son to graduate from each one of those. And so it's kind of hard to pick. The high schools, they all went through the Libi and the Lowry, but it's kind of hard to pick. But if I had to pick one, it might be Cy Falls. But I think all the high schools were good for my boys. They graduated. Uh, they had excellent teachers in those schools. They learned a lot, and they did well when they graduated and went on to college for each of those high schools.
Thank you very much. I'm going to tell you two things. One, our Cy Falls member will be jumping with joy after hearing that. Two, I personally, in my opinion, I think you're incorrect. Cypress Woods High School is the correct answer. Um, I'm from Cypress. Yeah, yeah.
I'll grant you that. Okay.
It's not a bias. It's just a fact at this point. But all right, let's get back to the more serious questions. As you were campaigning, how are you able to connect with voters, and what have you heard from them?
Good question. I just launched my campaign here in the last week and a half. Signed up, and I'm starting to. I'll just went to a meeting today of voters in the community, and did a short talk, introduced myself, and just told them a little bit about my platform. I plan to make different meetings. I like to get voters to schedule meet and greets for me in different neighborhoods across the area, so I can get to know residents in different neighborhoods. I will have uh, signs and push cards and and business cards to be able to take with me as I travel around the community. I will do some block walking in the community in different neighborhoods to kind of meet people personally and to get them to introduce myself and platform and get to know them and visit with them on different questions they may have about me and about the district in general that I can answer. And then I like to do some mailers and send out some mailers and maybe some text messages to different groups in the community to make certain that they um, uh, I'm able to spread my message far and wide so that people get to know me and get to and fill out some of the questionnaires that will come our way. Community impact, for instance. We usually, candidates usually get a questionnaire. Some other groups will send questionnaires, and so that'll be a way to get your message out within the community as well. And then we'll do the district's forum that comes up in October, district wide. That'll be we'll all sit on the stage and answer questions from a moderator about our positions at that particular forum. So there'll be different ways to be able to get the message out, get the word out, and let people get to know me.
That's good. I mean, you're going through different angles. Through text, through handshakes, through handing out the paper, and then through voice, which I absolutely respect. Traditional way. Traditional way is always the way to go nowadays, especially in this time and age. That brings us to the next question. Last question, actually. How can students be more involved in the decision making at the district level? And what role do student voices play in decision making, in your opinion?
Good question. I think the students have an avenue currently to voice their opinions and concerns about different things. I think the superintendent has a group that he meets of students that he meets with on a fairly regular basis to hear them out, to hear what concerns they may have. And I think this group is representative of most of the schools, the high school. I'm not sure exactly what the makeup is, but I understand it's representative of schools across the district. So you're hearing voices from the different campuses regarding concerns or questions that students may have, and it can take them directly to the superintendent and his staff. But also, they used to have a program. I think they still do, where the board members each year would sponsor a student. Um, that student would shadow the board member, or they would meet with the board, and 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 uh, and they would have an opportunity to talk directly to a board member and share with that board member, questions or concerns that they may have. And so I don't know if they still have that program, but I remember a program similar to that.
Thank you for your answer. So the committee is Superintendent Student Leadership Committee. I'm actually part of it. Applications are open until August 22nd.
Okay.
5 representatives from each school, except two from the I'm trying to remember. It's one of the centers.
Mhm.
and we meet once a month with the superintendent. Sometimes the president comes in. Some board members come in, just talk with us and all that. It's nice. Hopefully you'll be able to go there when where we get elected.
Sure.
The shadowing program, from what I've heard, that has never existed during my time as high school. Unfortunately,
Okay.
I mean, you could potentially bring it back.
Yeah, we could. That's something that we could look. We had it at the time I was on the board, but like I say, as time go by, things change, and so I understand it may not be there now, but I thought it was a pretty good program at the time.
I think that maybe you could potentially look into bringing it back. But we'll see how it goes. It's really up to how this election determines if you get in. And it's up to whoever the composite of the board.
Yeah.
But thank you very much. That should be all of our questions. I'm gonna cut the recording and I'll just ask you to post interview questions and let you know about any additional information. I'm cutting the recording in 3, 2, 1.